Hey guys, this is Holland with the Wolverine.com, and we're back with another episode of Recruit of the Week. Before we dive into this week's prospect, I want to encourage you guys to sign up for the Wolverine.com today. That's $10 until next football season, and you get premium insider recruiting information, team information, basketball recruiting information, and you get to be part of a great message board community over at the Fort. That's $10 until next football season, just $10 until August of 2023. All right, guys, let's dive into this week's Recruit of the Week. What better prospect to highlight than five-star defensive lineman Justin Scott? It's Michigan-Illinois week, and Scott is the number one overall ranked prospect in the state of Illinois. For next cycle, he's also ranked as the number 16 overall prospect in the country in the 2024 recruiting class per On3. Scott is a mammoth 6'5", 310-pounder. He can play anywhere you want him to along the defensive line, whether it's at the 3 technique or at the nose. He brings a lot of versatility because of his athleticism and his feet. He has great speed and quickness for his size. In fact, he could also be a high-level offensive line prospect. He goes both ways. For his high school team, I actually caught up with his head coach in the offseason, and we talked a little bit about that. Alabama recently jumped in the mix and really likes him as an offensive lineman, but Michigan looking at him as more of a defensive lineman. And again, like I mentioned, the size, the speed, the quickness, the versatility to play along the defensive line, those are all things Michigan loves. He has a basketball background. The fact that he hasn't been playing football for that long means that his upside is absolutely tremendous. Michigan defensive line coach Mike Elston is pushing very, very hard, has built a strong relationship with Scott early on. Area recruiter Sharon Moore has done a fantastic job of getting involved in this recruitment as well. And when you think about Michigan, you think about the success in Chicagoland, especially recently, landing guys like J.J. McCarthy and A.J. Henning and Jimmy Rolder and Tyler Morris, and, the list goes on. I think Michigan has done such a terrific job of recruiting Chicago and the surrounding suburbs, and I think that resonates with guys like Scott in the 2024 recruiting class. I think you're going to see Michigan continue to have success in the Windy City and in surrounding areas. And I think Scott is definitely paying attention to that pipeline that the Wolverines have built. He was on campus for the game against Michigan State. I saw him pregame on the sidelines, and he was having a great time, hanging out, seeing the atmosphere, getting to chat a little bit with fellow recruits. He was all smiles, so I think that Scott really, really enjoyed his first ever trip to Michigan. It's crazy he's not too far away from Ann Arbor, but waited a little while to make that first trip to Michigan, but I think it went as well as it could have possibly gone. I think Michigan really moved the needle, and the Wolverines are high up on his list right now. Now, obviously, when you're after a guy ranked this high, you're going to have plenty of competition in this recruitment. So like I said, Alabama just jumped in the mix not too long ago. He has other SEC programs that have offered as well, including Tennessee, Texas A&M, LSU. You also have some schools that have been very, very NIL heavy that have jumped in this recruitment, like Oregon. So this is going to be a national battle. Obviously, you have the schools that are closer to home. So, again, Michigan right in the mix there. Ohio State, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan State are all schools closer to home pushing for Scott as well. So, a five-star kid obviously is going to have several options. I do think he really likes Michigan early. I think he really likes Notre Dame. I think he really likes Ohio State and Wisconsin. I think he is intrigued by the Southern schools. I'm not sure how much of a factor NIL will be to Scott. I'm sure he will have plenty of opportunities being as highly ranked as he is. But at the same time, Scott is a good kid. He comes from a great family. His head coach is terrific. And both his mother and his head coach are really the biggest influencers in his life and the biggest mentors he has. And I think they'll play a big role in keeping the recruiting process down, making sure Scott stays level-headed and makes some correct decisions. Scott's also a really high academic kid. So along with being a great player on the football field, he also values the education aspect. That's why very, very early on, he was super, super excited about both the Michigan and Notre Dame offers because they were closer to home and because they offer a great football tradition and great education in the classroom as well. So that's something that's definitely going to play into Scott's favor. Now, as far as decision timeline and all of that, I don't think Scott wants his recruitment to turn into a circus. I think he's a kid that's probably going to make his official visits in the spring and then make a commitment at some point after that or maybe into the summer. I don't think Scott's the type of prospect that's going to drag this on. I do think Michigan's going to get him back on campus at least a couple of more times and will very much be in the running for an official visit. For now, Michigan's going to keep pushing. Obviously, win over the home state Illini would impress, and we'll see where things fall with Scott. Still a long way to go, but Michigan squarely in the mix with the 5-star prospect. All right, guys, for more Michigan recruiting information and for all the latest intel on the team and other sports and our great message board community, make sure to subscribe to thewolverine.com. Just $10 until next football season. Drop a like on this video. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. It is completely free. All right, guys, we will see you next week.